Hey people, welcome back to the Slight Sarcasm podcast. I'm Celeste.
I'm Amber.
And we're back.
Yes, it's been a nice vacation.
It's been 2 months. LOL.
Yeah, we said we were going to come back in August. It's not August, so we're sorry about that, but...
It's like we're closer to August than we could have been.
Well, it's funny because when we said we were going to come back in August, I already knew we were both going to agree like late August.
Fair, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it feels good to be recording again. We definitely missed, I didn't miss having obnoxious motorcycles cut into my audio, but we definitely missed, chatting about stuff and sharing it with everyone. So yeah, thanks for holding out and waiting on us, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for still supporting us. We gained a lot of like downloads still in the past 2 months since we've been gone, so that's really good. It seems like people enjoyed the last episode that was uploaded, I think in like July, like mid-July. So yeah, thanks for still supporting us. And we have social medias. Granted, I haven't updated the social media in like a little bit, but we have social media, so like follow us. They're always in the show notes. And like Amber said, glad to be back. Not used to recording again. Need to get back into the swing of that. But yeah, like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know why I'm like so tired in general. Like my body is tired. I don't know if I just didn't get enough sleep last night, even though I'm pretty sure I went to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, but I don't know. I'm just like exhausted. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Labor Day. This was supposed to be like a rejuvenating weekend, I think, for us both, because we've been working a lot, but yeah, I don't feel rested at all.
Yeah. Well, I actually took the rest of the week off, so
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I've been off since like Friday pretty much. So yeah, we'll see how the rest of the week goes, but yeah, I'm pretty goddamn tired. Yeah, it's not been rejuvenating at all. And so, but also like I hadn't taken any time off since March. In March, I took a full week off as well. And that was great. And so, like shifting around, sorry. Yeah, and so now I'm like was really excited about this, but also like I don't know. Like it's been okay so far. Like it's like day 3 or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna go visit my brother. That's really exciting.
Oh, good.
He needs stuff. He wanted me to come today. Yeah. He wanted me to come today, and I was like, I love you, but I am not driving on 95 on a holiday. Absolutely the fuck not. So I was like, you got any other days that you're free? And so I'm gonna go on the next weekend and take him out to lunch. And yeah, he needs some stuff, or he wanted some stuff, so I'll get him some stuff. And,
yeah, her brother is getting situated at college, so
yeah, he's a freshman in college. I
know, it's so cute. He's in that stage though that I'm sure a lot of you can relate with, where you're finally on your own, and then you have this like, oh shit, like I actually need more than I thought I did. Like, you're just itching to get out so bad, and then the reality sets in at like week 2 or 3 when you realize you have a lot of stuff missing, like dorm stuff and.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though. Like, you've never adulted in your life. This is, like, your first time doing that, so...
And also...
You're gonna... Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was like, you're just gonna think of things that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that's, like, something I actually, like, tangibly need. Like... Yeah.
But also, I think you're doing a good thing, too, because I'm sure he's also in that point where he's maybe, like, tired of the campus food. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna take him out to eat. Like, if that was me, I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, somebody's gonna get me off the campus and take me somewhere where I don't have to pay for it. Sure.
Yeah. I as much as as much as I did not like my parents visiting me when I was in college, I really liked that they took me out to food every time that they visited me, because I didn't have to pay for shit. It was like a free meal. I would like work my day around that free meal because I knew they were coming, and I'd like get enough food that I would like have to have leftovers.
Yeah, for me it was always the like set you right grocery shop trip before they leave. Like the last thing they would do before they left would, take you grocery shopping, and my list would be so freaking long, dude. Like,
nice.
Like, I need all the non-perishable snacks that I can like hide under my bed.
Yeah, that is actually really nice. My parents did not do that for me, so
but it's good that they visited. I don't think my parents visited me more than 2 or 3 times, but
yeah, same. My parents only visited me for like my birthday.
And it's crazy, or though, I'm like, y'all, I'm 2 hours away from you. Like, what do you have going on?
Yes, that you can't come see me.
Your beloved middle child is requesting your appearance and your presence.
Yeah. Well, I didn't never ask my parents. Well,
no, I never asked.
But I mean, yeah, I feel you. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah.
I would ask my mom, but my dad, no. I'm be like, oh, he's coming. All right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I'm excited to like see him. I'm gonna try to like visit him more, and he's also on the track team, so I'm gonna try to go to his meets. They start, he said, in January, so I'm gonna try to like. I never went to his meets in like high school just because, I was having my own shit, going through my own shit, and like and stuff, and like I want to like try. He's like an hour and a half, 2 hours north of me now instead of like 2 hours south of me. So like it's still the same distance, but like yeah, I'm gonna try to go to like his meets and stuff like that, and like, cheer him on and stuff like that. And I have a friend who did track in high school who would, like, if she's around, I would totally like bring her and stuff, and like, just support him in ways that I can now versus like back then.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do that and yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, this summer has been crazy. I feel like that's all I have to say about this summer.
Well, on a similar note, kind of getting into what we wanted to talk about today, Celeste and I decided that we wanted to just kind of talk about like current events, our thoughts on some things that are more or less trending, if you will, or just, present in the news right now. But I did have one thing I wanted to interject on that same note of college, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I want to know your thoughts on this, but because the only real time I've been following like what's going on with the colleges and stuff, now that kids are actually back on campus in person and they got all these new, rules and things in effect, because of COVID. I haven't really been following too much apart from what I see on TikTok of like freshmen, just getting acclimated or leaving. There's a lot of kids deciding college isn't for them and they're posting about it on TikTok and they're leaving like a week later. But I saw there's a school in Virginia. If you're from Virginia, you definitely know Virginia Tech. It's down in the mountains in like Southwest Virginia, but it's a really, really popular state school, very, very good school. But I saw this video earlier this week of one of their first football games of the season. Absolutely packed stadium. It looked like every single spot in that stadium was full. And it was just a sea of orange and maroon and, people cheering and obviously excited for the game. But the post that I saw, it was on Reddit. The post I saw was like COVID Bowl 2021 because it just looked insane. And so I was like, oh God, like, initially I'm like, oh damn, that's like not good at all. But then I was reading through the comments and people, as usual, are always arguing about something in the comments. But someone mentioned that Tech is one of the schools that has required a vaccination. And if you are not vaccinated, you cannot attend. So I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I wish I had done a little more research before I brought it up. But I'm just wondering what you think about that, like about people, you know, you get your college acceptance, all this stuff. Like, what if your parents don't want you to get vaccinated, but your school is saying you have to be vaccinated or you can't attend this year? Like, I think that's just really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, legally you're 18, so you can do whatever you want. So I'm pretty sure there's vaccination. Yeah. So, like, I'd probably say majority of the students are over 18. Like, traditionally, at least.
Well, yeah, like 17 going into 18 at least, but...
Yeah. So, like, I think that, yeah, also, I've seen that, like, even, like, with my brother, he had to get vaccinated before he went off to his school. He doesn't go to tech, but, so I feel like, and I've heard it before, that, like, it's becoming, like, pretty common, or it is pretty common that, like, schools... if you're trying to live on campus or do any activities on campus, you have to be vaccinated. So I do like that. I think also, like, what am I trying to say? I also saw that, like, there are some schools that have vaccination centers on campus, so you can get vaccinated on campus. Like, you go to, like, student health or something like that. So if, like, your parents are like, I'm not getting you vaccinated, I'm pretty sure, like, hopefully you can contact your your dorm supervisor or whomever that, like, handles dorm stuff or, like, university stuff, and be like, hey, like, my parents aren't allowing me to go get the vaccine. I'm gonna be in the dorms. Is it possible for me to, like, what can I do? Like, can I, like, when my parents leave, go straight to student health and, like, get a vaccine? And, like, maybe, hopefully, like, try to quarantine or stuff for, like, like a few days or something like that. I feel like that needs to, like, that's something that, like, you'd have to figure out, unfortunately, on your own, because like, yeah, that really sucks. That really, really does suck. Like, and yeah, like, I cannot imagine how hard it is to be in college or being a young adult, like 18 to, like, 22 right now. Like, I can't imagine what it's like. I thought it was hard back then, and that wasn't that long ago. Like, we're 27, and, like, I thought it was hard back when we were that age, but, like, I can't imagine what it's like now, like, in the middle of a pandemic, when, like, you know, the internet is so much more prevalent now than it was even, like, 5 years ago. And just, like, dealing with, like, you know, the shit that, like, you know, people have a lot of discourse on, like, TikTok and Reddit and, like, all these other places, and just trying to take in all that information, trying to, like, figure out, like, your own shit and how to become an adult and how to be an adult. And then also, like, trying to satisfy, like, your family and stuff like that, and all their, like, conflicting bullshit, like...
Exactly. Well, at the same time, you know, I've this is what I've been seeing a lot of on TikTok, and it's to be expected, especially at this point in time. There are a lot of kids complaining about their roommates, and not necessarily because they don't, we don't get along, you know, they don't like me in their space, whatever. But just, like, a lot more concerning stuff, like, you know, like, I've seen people hang a Black Lives Matter flag, and then a day or two later, someone has a freaking rebel flag hanging across the room from them or something. Or, you know, there's, like, an LGBTQ flag, and then, you know, their roommate takes it down while they're away at class or something. Like, that stuff is, stress level 1000. I could never function with someone who has, like, a difference of opinion that serious to me. Like, if it's, you know, like, pro-Black versus, you know, racist, right? Or, right? Or, you know, homophobic or something like that. Like, I could never, Oh man, I can't even imagine what some of these kids are going through, because that's like when your identity comes into question because the person you share space with, like intimately share space with, doesn't agree with what you stand for. That, I mean, even on both sides, even if you're thinking of it from the point of view of the homophobic or the racist person, right? That's stressful as fuck. And hopefully most of these kids are taking a second to at least talk about it, and not just, just say, oh, fuck that dude, I'm moving out, right? Like, at least take a second to talk about it, because you might be able to sway that person to open up their mind a little bit more, right? I'm saying, like, if it's like a situation where someone's like, they grew up racist, right? A lot of what we're seeing is that these kids were just taught that, and they've lived around it, and that's just all they know. It's just to be hateful or discriminatory like that. But maybe if because you're in their space and you are supposed to have like a closer relationship because you live together, like maybe it's a great opportunity to slowly introduce them to stuff that would make them open up and not be that person any longer. Because like that's like a huge theme in college overall, apart from getting your education, of course, is like personal growth and development, right? So, I feel for the kids who are like, fuck this, I'm moving out like day one. They know for sure like it's not gonna work, but like I really hope they at least tell their roommate why they've come to the point where they feel like they need to leave. Because maybe that becomes a reality check for that hateful roommate, Maybe they say, well, I can't function like this anymore because I'm not in my hometown where everybody thinks the same, or I can't, I have this mandatory class that's going to force me to learn about this stuff anyway. Like, I can't get around that anyway, right? Like, I need to just take a second and consider other people for a change and not be so fucking close-minded. But anyways, that's my hope for that. But yeah, I don't know. I think the whole college and COVID dynamic is very interesting, and TikTok is giving me kind of a front row seat. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say, I don't know. I guess maybe a couple things. One, I always come back to, someone said this, and I love this, and I will constantly say it. It's not the job of the person who's marginalized to tell and teach people who are bigots and racist and homophobic and all of these isms about themselves. Like, it's not their job, like, to do any of that. So if you're a marginalized person and you have a roommate who is, got a goddamn Confederate flag in your room and like a Blue Lives Matter flag, then and that makes you uncomfortable, get the fuck out. Just get out. Because I
totally agree.
Yeah, like there is no, if you want to confront them and be like, hey, like, I'm over here with my little LGBTQ flag, and like you're over there with your and Black Lives Matter flag, and you're clearly opposing me, like you went out of your way to oppose me, right? Like, then, like, that makes me uncomfortable, blah blah blah, and whatever. And if you feel like having a conversation with them about it and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, then don't try not, if you can. I know it's not always within our control, but if you can, get out of that situation. Like,
and that's what that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not saying force yourself to talk to them. Don't fucking do that. I'm saying at least take a second, like take a breath, and let them know why you are getting the hell out of there. Because maybe they're totally unaware. It's totally possible that that's a wake-up call for them. But it's definitely not your position or not your job. And it's sometimes it's a huge waste of time and energy to try to talk to someone about it. If they don't want to hear you, they don't want to hear you. But I'd say the least you could do, in that situation is let them know straight up, be like, look, I am not going to live with a racist. Like, you want to do all this stuff. I'm not comfortable with that. Bye. You know? So, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't put yourself in a crazy situation. Obviously, if you feel endangered, that's a totally different situation. That's when you leave and you don't say shit. You just get the fuck out, right? But, you know, if you can help it, maybe drop a word or two.
That's fair. I also will say we went kind of went to a more diverse school.
It was very diverse.
Like there were definitely pockets of like people who are racist, because I mean we went to school in Virginia, so there's that. And outside of like the city limits of our school was like racism. Like, so I mean, like, it's
rural surrounding. The surrounding area can be very rural.
So it's not surprising. So there are definitely pockets of like, especially like the really white like Greek orgs and stuff like that, especially the male ones. Yeah, the frats. I was like, what are the male ones called? Those were like very it's giving young Republican bullshit. It
was interesting because in any of those frats you could always tell like it was like almost like a token brown person.
Black guy,
or a token brown black guy.
Always a token person of color, whether they're Indian or Asian or person, black.
Right, exactly. You would see like 20 white dudes and then like 3 or 4 non-white people. It's so sad.
So who were just as racist as like, or probably even more racist than their white counterparts. So
that's a different story though.
but it was, I would like to say a smaller percentage, but also like my view of everything is like skewed because I was in the engineering school, so I only hung around like those people, and those people were pretty racist. So they like to think that they're not, but they are. So there's also that. But yeah, like our school I feel like was a bit more diverse comparatively to a lot of other state schools. So our view is a little bit different, but cuz like I don't know, there was some app where people would like confess like
Yik Yak. Oh, I was on there.
Not Yik Yak, it was after Yik Yak.
Oh,
it was after Yik Yak. There was this other like, maybe it was just on Instagram, and they would have like these school confessional Instagram accounts. Like I think UCLA had one, and people would anonymously like tell, like, you know, submit stories, and they would post them on their Instagram account. This was like a few years ago. And people would talk about like the racism that was going on at like UCLA and like a lot of other PWIs.
You want to explain what a PWI is?
A PWI is a predominantly white institution, so any school that's not an HBCU. So yeah, and like in reading a lot of those stories, I was like, wow, like it is so overt, like how bad the racism is. So even in, you know, our own like stories and viewpoints, like the school that we went to was probably a lot worse than what we actually thought it was. So as much as like they touted diversity and stuff like that, and for the most part, I don't know, I feel like for the most part it like wasn't a huge, like, it was okay to like be yourself on campus, but I do think in pockets of like certain groups it wasn't. Because even, like, I had friends who came out later on in life because like, the people, our organization was homophobic and racist. Granted, like, I was a black person there, but I almost didn't get into this organization because I was a black girl who had an attitude. I'm using air quotes. and like all this, and it was like a huge like drama dawn thing that happened, and like I didn't even know it was a whole thing that happened until I got in. And like no one told me until like one day, like someone was like talking about like all the drama that they had seen throughout their like years in the organization, and they were like, oh yeah, and then like, you know, what happened like last semester, and I was like, what happened last semester? And they were like, yeah, like you like yeah, they were like, people didn't like you, and I was like, wait, what? Damn. Like, I didn't, like, even realize that. I was like, well, if people didn't like me, then why the fuck am I here? Like, right. And it's just, like, crazy, like, bullshit like that, right? Like, so, yeah, I don't know. It's, like, it's hard. Like, I guess all in all, what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, like, and what we're both saying is, you know, like, if you truly just don't feel comfortable, then leave. Like, just... If you can. I know there are times when like you legitimately can't leave. You know, like I've had stories where like I've been in bad like roommate experiences and I couldn't leave for whatever shitty bureaucratic reason. But so like it's annoying to have to like tough shit like that out. Hopefully you can if you can't leave, try to find like a support system in which you can like just hang out with. Definitely. Or just be around those people. Maybe like you can do like sleepovers and stuff like that at like other people's dorms that way. Or if someone else has like, if someone is like living off campus, maybe they have a couch that you can crash on until your time is up or whatever, or you can like move out or whatever. But like, yeah, those are some ways around it. I'm pretty sure there might be more that other people that you can like research, but yeah, never. It's hard to be in that kind of situation when you're super young and you just don't know what to do. And I don't blame anyone for like going back home and being like, fuck this, or like deciding like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to community college and like tough it out or whatever somewhere else. But yeah, sometimes the college experience, especially if you're going to a PWI, from what I've heard from other people, is not what it's all cracked up to be. So yeah. I feel for literally everyone who's entering or is in college right now. Like, it's rough. It's really, really rough. Yeah.
Well, I think we've beat that topic to a pulp.
Yes.
I did not mean to commandeer the conversation with that. I just thought
no.
thing was interesting, but
no,
we
you're
do
good.
Have some other stuff. Oh, okay. Well, we do have some other stuff. Who wants to talk about? So I'll let Celeste pick which one she wants to talk about next.
So yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff has happened within the past month. So like, I guess the next thing I wanted to talk about was like the OnlyFans situation. If you don't know, like a few months, like I think a month ago or a few weeks ago or something like that, OnlyFans announced that they were going to enact a policy in October saying that they weren't going to allow any more sexual content on their platform, which is like literally insane because their platform was built upon the backs of sex workers. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. And literally everybody was like, what the actual fuck? Because once again, sex workers get disrespected by literally everyone. I would highly recommend, if you don't know how hard it is to be a sex worker in this country, at least, I would highly recommend looking it up. Like, sex workers, I think, have it like one of like the worst times like working in this country. Like, they can get denied for literally anything, because they're sex workers. Like, I've seen sex workers talk about how their brick and mortar bank accounts get canceled because their bank found out that they're a sex worker. I've heard about like their Venmos getting canceled because Venmo found out they were sex workers. I've learned that, what else? Getting kicked out of your apartment, because you're a sex worker. Just like, it's extremely...
Getting denied for an apartment.
Getting denied for an apartment.
Get like a job, background. And
getting denied for loans. Check. Like, if you anything that has to do, like you're saying, anything that has to do with like a background check, if you're not getting a 1099 or a W-2, it is extremely hard to get anything in this country. Extremely, extremely hard. So yeah, in a lot of these there are a lot of these girls that are making money. Like, they're making like thousands of dollars a week, and it's not like they can't pay for shit. Men and women.
I think one of the reasons why OnlyFans is super popular is because it's so I've seen a lot of this where it's like people on YouTube wanting to have another dimension to their content that's obviously more mature. So, it's not all like, porn and things like that. It could be just adult content in general, but a lot of it is, I'd say a good majority of what's the content on that site is sexual content. But, I think it's just, it appealed to so many people because you could take your same fan base and say, okay, for those of you that are interested in the other side of things, refer here, right? Or people, maybe they use other platform previously and they wanted something more secure and more, stable, like a large site like OnlyFans. But yeah, for them to then say, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. First of all, my question is why? Because that's your main client base. Yeah,
money. They want money from brands.
Well, yeah, your main customer and client base, though, is mainly only on that site for that type of content. So, I think it's funny. I think it was like 4 weeks later after they announced that, they said, okay, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, I think it was like literally like a week later.
Yeah.
Like, they changed their tune super fast. And I was just like, how... But also, I think someone was like talking, like someone like posted it on Instagram, and I was like, I'm interested to see how this develops, and like, I'm interested to see like, the people who actually will go out and do the research on like all of this when all that information comes out, and like, how much money were they gonna lose to the point where they were like, you know what, never mind.
I'm sure because somebody crunched the numbers and was like, oh, fuck. Okay, never mind.
Yes. Because it couldn't just be, like, all, like, the internet was upset. They don't care about us. Like, they don't care. It had to be a money thing because, but also, why would you enact something like that and not know how much money you're going to lose?
I mean, not even just realize the repercussions of something like that on a site as influential as OnlyFans.
Yeah, like, you're in songs, and you don't have to pay to be in songs. Like, Beyonce, like, rapped about you.
That's
like,
true, yeah.
How are you... Like,
Happy
this is your whole...
Beyonce, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, that was yesterday. Yeah.
It was, like, day before.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right, though.
It's a hot ass mess. That I'm interested definitely to see, like,
that's like if Pornhub said they were only going to show or sponsor one or two types of categories of content.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the reason why people go to Pornhub is because you can get something for everyone. Like, there's literally any sort of like exploratory type of category is represented on that site. So it's like that would be, I think, like almost as controversial.
Yeah.
If not
more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, yeah. That was really dumb of them. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Part of me thinks that they'll just slowly enact certain changes that will take away a lot of the more explicit sexual acts. So maybe you could only do like topless stuff, or maybe I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I feel like that will probably be the way that they go, because they're trying to become quote unquote legit. They're trying to get like actual branding, because to be, I don't know, I don't understand, which I don't understand, because I feel like in some people's minds, like, and especially in those people's minds, when you have brand recognition, it's more stable. But also, like, I feel like regardless of a recession, or like the worst comes to worst, like, I feel like the porn industrial complex is going to still be like a thing. People still want to watch porn and to see sex and stuff like that. Like, irregardless of what's going on in the world. Yeah, it's like alcohol. Like, people are still going to buy alcohol irregardless of whatever's going on in the world. No matter how poor they are, they're still going to buy alcohol. So, well, not poor, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But this brings up a good point, though, because what you were saying was, like, I think they'll slowly start to, you know, change things up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But from a business standpoint, that gives their direct competitors a great opportunity. This news was amazing for their competitors, because now their competitors can say, well, we would never do that. Mm-hmm. We want you here. Let's give you even more freedom on our site if you join us, right? So I have a feeling soon we'll see another name come up on the same level as OnlyFans, and people will kind of have to choose between the two, or not have to choose, but like, I think a lot of the creators on OnlyFans will say, like, okay, well, maybe I should hop over here instead, or do both, or whatever. And I think we'll see the rise of some competition from them that are doing the exact same thing, but just better, right?
Yeah. I thought about this, and I was like, there's another site that I really like, that's more like woman friendly and like more woman pleasure friendly, is Balesa.co. I think they like did a partnership with Cardi B, because she was talking about their sex toys for a while. But they also have videos, and they have like erotic stories and things like that, and I think it's run by women. So I would love for them to kind of get in, because they also have been doing their own like films. Oh, they did a film with Young M.A. Like, Young M.A. really? Directed like a film for them, or with them, or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's on Pornhub as well, but yeah, or maybe she did it with Pornhub. I don't remember. Maybe I probably got that wrong. Never mind. But yeah, like but Balesa does have their own like filming, like they film their own videos and stuff like that with like with actors and stuff like that. So I would love for them to like hop in the game and be like, yeah, let's and they have like a paid subscription stuff and things like that, and I'm like, yeah, I would love for them to hop in and be like, hey, we want to like get some creators on our platform and like do put their content on there, because there's so many other like, I've seen so many other like, I don't know what the lingo is, but I don't want to say like amateur, but like the girls that are on OnlyFans, some of them also have like films and videos on other sites as well, and like doing like the same stuff. So yeah, I'm here for creators diversifying, especially sex workers, because you can't trust any of these companies.
Absolutely.
Because sex work is so undervalued and seen as, you know, all of these negative things, and it's 100% not, because y'all will pay for it, but y'all want to pretend like it's not a real thing, and it 100% is. Like, it's a hot ass mess. But yeah, so that was like the OnlyFans stuff that happened, and Yeah. Oh man. What else? Oh my god. Okay. I really want to talk about the showering thing because I feel like we have been talking about white people not being clean for like 11 million years. Like, I am so sick and tired of talking about how white people don't clean themselves. And it's not like we have never known. The problem is that they keep talking about it on the internet to us. And I am really... Because a couple years ago, it was like they don't wash their legs. And then we found out that they believe that the pool doesn't clean... that the pool cleans them.
Stop. Oh my god.
The chlorine.
Okay, wait. Before we get into this...
Yes. Okay.
Because Celeste is about to rant here. I will preface and say we are not trying to generalize all white people as being dirty.
Oh yeah, of course.
Unclean.
If you're offended by that, you're part of the problem. But yeah.
No, here's the thing though. I think sometimes, like, especially like white celebrities, they make a point to tell you that they're alternative, and or whatever they want to call it, they're alternative, or they're doing sustainable practices and blah blah blah. That does not mean you shouldn't wash your children. Like, that to me is this is why lice is a problem in schools with young kids, because their parents are not washing their hair regularly, and then they spread that shit everywhere, and it's like, anyway, what I'm saying is, we're not trying to rope every single person in there. Obviously, there's plenty of people who have great hygiene, and that's not the issue. But there are people who tend to, like, it's almost like they're promoting not bathing. And that's the problem we have. It's like, that is so just nonchalant, like, whatever, to certain people, and I think that's unacceptable.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were talking on, I think, Dak Shepard and his other person's co-host, whoever his co-host is,
everybody has a podcast
on their, like, podcast, I know, right? About, like, they were talking, I don't know what they were talking about, but they, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were talking about how, like, they don't, like, wash themselves or their children. They just do, like, a smell test. Like, if you smell bad, then you, like, shower and stuff like that, which, okay, cool. And then a lot of other celebrities came out talking about how they don't wash their children. They also do smell tests. Like, Kristen Bell was one of them, and I was like, God damn it, Kristen Bell, really? Can't trust any white celebrity. But then, who's the other one? God, the one that was in that Spider-Man movie. Not Ryan Gosling or Reynolds. What's the other one?
Huh?
No, maybe it's not a Ryan. The one that was in Brokeback Mountain. The second Spider-Man. The one that was in Brokeback Mountain with Heath Ledger.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, Jake Gyllenhaal. Man, all those white people look the same.
Oh my god, girl. Oh, she was thinking Tobey Maguire looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, the second Spider-Man movie. The Marvel one. No, the third, the one with Tom Holland. Yeah, what? There's so many Spider-Man movies. Sorry.
God, girl. Okay, all right.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Look up the list. Hold up.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal was the other one who was like, yeah, I don't shower. And I was like, no wonder you look so greasy, because why? I was like,
literally,
but then
fourth search result on Google. I said celebs that don't, it says celebs that don't drink, celebs that don't age, celebs that don't wear makeup, celebs that don't wash. Okay, here's the list right here as of August 13th. Oh my god, bro, come on.
August
I'm seeing some names that are gonna piss me off.
Go, do it.
Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Dak Shepard and Kristen Bell, but they're married, so of course they were like, oh yeah, cool, man. Jake Gyllenhaal, sad. Coco Austin, I don't know who. Oh, Ice-T's wife. Okay, girl. Brad Pitt, wow. Charlize Theron, okay. I can't, man. They've got quotes from all these people too, which I think is pretty interesting. Oh, this is an LA Mag link. So if you want to hear about any of these, I can read a little snippet from each one.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, like, I don't care. They're just nasty.
Yeah, them being on the list is all I need to know. Yeah, I was also.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was also watching Mina Lee. I think that's her name. She's a YouTuber and she does like a lot of fashion analysis and fashion history YouTube content, and she did a video on like the whole showering situation, and I found it so interesting because she talks about like the history of showering. Go ahead, because you're like cracking up.
Celeste and I are on FaceTime, by the way, so she can see my reaction. First of all, I have to apologize because Jake Gyllenhaal is in the new Spider-Man. I haven't seen him yet, but
I haven't seen that.
That's why I was like, I was like, what the fuck is she talking about Jake Gyllenhaal for? I'm sorry, you were right. Secondly, this is his quote, and this is why I was like, oh my god. He went. So it said, when asked, okay, he had a Vanity Fair interview recently. When asked about his shower routine, the Spider-Man Far From Home actor said, and quote, more and more, I find bathing to be less necessary. So you telling me you are over the age of 40 and you don't wash your balls anymore? Like, what is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Here's another quote here. He also added, but I do also think that there's a whole world of not bathing that is also really helpful for skin maintenance, and we naturally clean ourselves. How are you naturally cleaning yourself?
We're not cats.
Are you waiting for the rain and you just step out into the rain and that's what you mean by naturally cleaning your... How else are you cleaning yourself?
The only parts of your body that actually clean yourself are literally inside of you.
A vagina.
Your ears clean... Yes, and your ears. Your ears clean themselves, but that's inside. And you know what? Maybe Jake Gyllenhaal has a vagina. We don't know. And I don't discriminate. But maybe that's what he was talking about. I have no idea. Because that is the only thing that makes sense to me.
Charlize Theron, I'm sorry, I have to read some of these quotes because I don't understand how anyone could say this out loud and think this is okay. Charlize Theron, this was like way back from 2008, but she says she would be fine with going a week without a shower. I'm very spoiled and I don't take for granted how lucky I am to stay in fancy hotels and fly first class, she said. So when I do have a little time off, I like to get down and dirty by camping or traveling to countries that don't have the luxuries. She also added, there is a time and place for everything, and sometimes there's a time for not showering. That I understand. If you have more pressing things to do, like save your own life and survive, no, you're not going to take a shower. But what? I don't know what point she's trying to make by saying she stays in fancy hotels and she flies luxury, first class, whatever. So that means you don't need to wash yourself. You're just going to roll around in some fancy hotel sheets and get your nastiness on everything. That makes no sense.
Also, it doesn't make you a better person because you're rich and you decide that you are going to go camping in places that don't have electricity so you don't have to shower. Like, the mental gymnastics people take to come up with their shitty ass reasoning is exhausting. Like, that is, but also, go ahead. Because you made a face.
No, it's just Ashton Kutcher being a goofy white man. He's like, here's the thing. If you see dirt on them, I think he's talking about their kids. If you see dirt on them, clean them. Otherwise, there's no point. So...
So that means that your children have to be filthy. Because every time I've been taking a shower, I will like look down and look at the suds, and I take a shower once a day. I'm not someone who takes a shower twice a day just because I don't feel like it, and I'm usually home. So I take a shower once a day, which clearly is more than some people. And even me not doing anything, I'm like I'm taking my shower or whatever and scrubbing and stuff, and it's brown. The water is brown because of dead skin cells and sweat and like you using the bathroom.
1 day.
Yes.
In just 1 day, yeah.
In just 1 day, there's so much dirt that's coming off of me. So, in 1 day, that much dirt is coming off of me, and you can't see it. Can you imagine how long you haven't showered where you can see the dirt on your child? That is absolutely disgusting.
That's crazy. So, we have to pause here, though, because we have to play devil's advocate, and also
the devil already has enough.
No. Think about it. We have... no, I'm not. You'll get what I'm saying in a second. But, like, we have to mention the other very prevalent point is not everyone has the luxury of being able to bathe daily, right?
Yes.
But right, hold on. But hear me out, right? So Mila Kunis in the same interview, I guess, she says, well, it says, the article from LA Mag says, Kunis, who said she didn't have hot water growing up, so she rarely took showers, added, when I had children, I also didn't wash them every day. I wasn't that parent that bathed my newborns ever. This is the difference. Growing up, she did not have the luxury to be able to have a hot shower. So that was just what happened. Like, they just couldn't do that, right? Totally understand that. There's a lot of people in that situation, and I understand if you can't get a hot shower every day or a hot bath or whatever. But this lady is a millionaire now, and she's telling me she still doesn't watch her children. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You have to if you're not showering every day. I'm sorry, I just have to say,
go ahead.
Because this is the other thing. This ties into what sorry, somebody else was saying. Give me a second. I think Kristen Bell said it. Yeah. Kristen Bell said this. We don't have a ton of water. I guess they live somewhere. Well, they live in California, but maybe they live somewhere where water isn't as easily accessible. Mm-hmm. He says, we don't have a ton of water. So when I shower, I'll grab the girls and push them in there with me to save, to use the same shower water. Get that. I totally get that. But if you have the luxury of taking a shower and you're not taking a shower, what are you doing to make a difference, actually? Mm-hmm. Like, if you're so, like, if you want to be, like, an advocate for all this stuff, like, you need to do something about it. Like, just not showering is not gonna save the planet. Or, I don't get it.
It's not because they want, it's not because they care or about, like, saving the planet or anything like that. Like, it's not about that. Those excuses are bullshit. That. It's because it's a personality. It's their personality. They want to be different. They want to be special. They want people to, like, talk about them or anything like that because they're non-existent. Like, yeah. It's a personality trait for them to, like, not shower, and that's fucked up.
But pushing away from Kristen Bell saying, oh, we just save water, blah, blah, and going back to Mila Kunis, who's saying, I grew up not having the luxury of enjoying a hot shower or bath every day, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're in the position where you totally can do that, and you're still saying you don't, like, you see no point. Why don't you take that money that you're saving or whatever you think you're saving and provide hot water for 5 families in the city that don't have the same luxury?
How about you go help Flint get some clean water so they can go take showers?
Like, at least we got fucking Jaden Smith trying to save Flint. Like, come on. Like, I at least do something with it. Don't just make it your quirky thing. Mm-hmm. Do something about it that really makes it seem like it's worth a damn. All this holier than thou. I'm just clean naturally. I don't need to. Jake Gyllenhaal saying, "Oh, it's less and less necessary for me to wash my fucking stinky ass ball." Like, that shit irks me so bad because it comes off so pretentious and
yeah,
like,
and tone deaf. I
guarantee you, they don't even realize exactly. They don't even. I was just gonna say they don't realize how tone deaf it is to say. What's the point?
Yeah. The point is that people who are not rich.
When you have people 20 miles away from your lovely ranch on 50 acres in California sweating their ass off in the fucking fields every day to make sure you get your fresh strawberries at fucking Whole Foods or whatever. Like, that's the shit that pisses me off is these people, once they get to this point where they don't have to care about everything, they totally lose touch with reality. All this shit says to me is these rich people have lost touch with reality.
Yeah.
I get if you're like, yeah, we just do things a little different, but don't make it a point and try to make some fucking stupid ass excuse like, well, we don't have a lot of water in California, so I don't bathe my children. That shit does not.
That's not the
fucking
reason
help.
why. Yeah. That's
help.
not the reason why. Yeah. Also,
you can
like,
be catching rainwater. Like, do something with your energy that you spend not washing your children.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, like, I just here's the biggest also, like, one of the biggest things is that in our culture, in the society that we live in, being unclean is related to all sorts of negative stereotypes, especially for people who are in the minority, for Black people, people of color, people who are disabled. Like, being unclean is like it's a huge thing. I can't like use the words, but like as a fat Black person, I can't not, if I smell, it's a huge thing. It's not like when a white person smells, right? It's just like, oh, this white person smells. When a fat Black person smells, it's like, oh, this person is unkempt, unclean, blah, disgusting, blah, blah. Da 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 da. And I can fat people, disabled people, people of color, we are constantly cleaning ourselves out of fear that people are going to judge us because it's just one more thing. It's just one more thing to be judged about. And Mila Kunis, yeah, okay, there are plenty of people who grew up without water and not showering every day. So did I. There was a period of time in my life where wasn't able to shower every day or launder my clothes every day. I had to wear clothes like back to back or every other day or something like that, right? Like I didn't have that many clothes or anything like that. But I understand, but I have more money now, right? And like my family has more money now and all that stuff. And I still take a fucking shower every goddamn day because I understand the privilege that I have to be like, oh, I don't have to take a shower if I don't want to. And I'm also not talking about people who are depressed, who have mental or physical disabilities, who cannot actually take showers every day. There are times when I am very, very depressed and I will go a day or two without showering because I just cannot physically get out of the bed because my mental health is not great. I can't imagine people who have disabilities, who live by themselves, and it's extremely hard to take a shower every fucking day because of their physical limitations. So you have the privilege and the money. It's not like you can't pay your fucking water bill to take a shower every day, and you're choosing not to, not because you want to save the planet, not because you care about other bullshit. It's because you want to make it your personality trait. You want to be someone who is different. And honestly, this is why a lot of people are sick and tired. Yeah. And this is why a lot of people are sick and tired of celebrity culture, because y'all have all this money and cannot come up with anything better to do besides not washing your ass. And it is disgusting. If you are taking a shit every day, and you have the money and the availability to do so, you need to be taking a fucking shower. In America, we do not use bidets. So you need to be washing your ass every single fucking day. Like, this is, like, you know this and we know this, and you just want to be a total asshole about it. And also, no one asked. No one asked if y'all take showers. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This was so unprovoked.
The thing that pisses me off about what Mila Kunis says is, like, she's like, oh yeah, it's just a thing now, like, whatever. But I don't know. I watch a lot of content, like, it's supposed to be like uplifting, like wholesome content. So I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok where, I know I always talk about TikTok now, but anyway, I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok and YouTube where people just, there's this thing on TikTok that I really love where viewers will send, like, donate money just through like Venmo or Cash App or, you know, something else or whatever. And the person who runs the page will gather up money like every week or so and go and either donate money to someone or buy something for someone or whatever. And so I see a lot of like content like that where they end up speaking to like homeless or disadvantaged people or families. And a lot of times, like, I watched this one guy in particular, and what he usually asks to like start the conversation with the person is, "What could I do to make your day?" And half the time is people saying something like, "Oh man, I could really use a new clothing item. You know, I could use some new shoes or a jacket or whatever." And then there's another part of people who are like, "Oh, you know, I'm just so hungry. Like, I could really use a good meal, blah, blah." A lot of times people are like, "I could use a shower and a bed." Like a shower. That's what you need to uplift yourself. You need to feel clean, to feel better about yourself. That's why things like when, this is really common in LA and some of these larger cities, I think on the West Coast, people will have nonprofit organizations that their sole mission is to go out and help these people bathe. They will help, you know, people on the streets bathe, right? They will bring trucks where you can go and take a fucking shower in the truck. There's a shower stall or two in the truck. You can take a shower. They might cut your hair, trim your hair, your nails or something like that. You know, shave your face or something. That's what people need. You need to feel clean. And so to have someone with so much privilege and even so much influence, right? As someone like Mila Kunis, right? Saying like, yeah, I grew up like that. It was rough, but I don't really, whatever. It's just whatever now. Like, that's just a big ass slap in the face, because if, guarantee you, when she was growing up and her family, you know, was going through that, that's what they were thinking about all the time, was that they could not let that stuff happen.
Yeah.
That they couldn't do that. And that's like, I just think it's so fucking tone deaf and insanely insensitive to brag about not bathing.
Yeah.
When there's so many people who, if you asked a group of 10 people on the street, I guarantee you most, if not all of them, would say, yeah, I would love a hot shower right now. Come on. That's just so wrong to me, man.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. A hot ass mess. White people, please stop telling us y'all don't shower, because we know. We know.
Oh my God. Know. Okay, wait. Okay, so I think on the similar ranty realm, I kind of want to talk about Hurricane Ida, because I've been waiting to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if y'all didn't... Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to quickly say, I'm going to bleep their names out, but I want to quickly say fuck you to Candace Owens and because y'all have been touting a lot of bullshit for the past, like, year and a half, 2 years of this whole fucking pandemic, and, like, your whole career, but also, like, the past, like, nearly 2 years of this goddamn pandemic, y'all been touting a lot of bullshit, even though
misinformation
has gone out of his way to get rapid tests, COVID tests for, like, himself and every single one of his guests for his shows for the past, like, year and a half or whatever, touting all this misinformation and bullshit about COVID, got COVID, and then went out and got the best care for COVID, looking at you. And then Candace Owens getting turned away from a center because of her bullshit. And
I feel so bad for her.
Someone was, like, on Twitter talking about how, like, they shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, whatever. And I was like, first of all, and a lot of people were saying, like, you know what, first of all, it was a private company. It wasn't, like, a CVS or anything else that turned her away. It was a private company that she was going to that denied her. And they made
a point of telling her that.
Denied her all that stuff. And second of all, like everyone's been saying, homegirl can go down to the CVS, to the Walgreens, to the Rite Aid or whatever, and go get her a little drive-through COVID shit for whatever reason. Like, I I have been very much of the mindset for a while that I'm not about the if you go low, I go high. I'm going lower. We are both going to hell. I do not care. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, you don't get to be babied and all this stuff just because you have a big platform and you're touting all this misinformation. All of you who took that goddamn horse tranquilizer bullshit and then now you're in the
horse dewormer.
Yes, whatever.
I can't pronounce the name of it, but horse dewormer, not horse tranquilizer.
Same thing, because y'all in the hospital anyway for the shit and taking up beds for people who have COVID or the people who have cancer and like all these necessary surgeries and illnesses and stuff, and they're getting turned away from the hospital and their appointments moved months and months back because COVID is so fucking, this Delta variant and all these other new Greek alphabet fraternity sorority fucking variants are just like running through people like crazy, and it's just like, y'all, this has been the best case of self-serving bullshit we've ever seen, I think, in a very long time, in at least this country. Like, this whole individualism bullshit, this whole capitalism bullshit is fucking us up right now. COVID is not going to go anywhere for a very long time because of the individualism, and the self-serving bullshit and the capitalism and the government literally not doing anything. When the CDC said that the girls didn't have to wear any mask, and then talking about, well, if you're not vaccinated, then you should still wear a mask. Girl, really? And everybody was like, hey, that's not gonna happen. Everyone's just not gonna wear a mask. That don't make no damn sense. And then they turn around like, I didn't think that, like, everybody, like, people weren't gonna do you not live in America?
They didn't want people to find out that you could function without a mask again, and then have people say, well, CDC's just spouting lies. They're forcing us to do this, blah, blah. I think that's what happened with that, was they wanted to give people something, and then it turned into this. Now it's like nobody cares about the mask anymore. I mean, luckily, I've been seeing more and more people putting their masks back on, thank God, but I mean, we had to enforce a mandate all over again in Chicago just to do that. Like,
yeah, they're not doing that here. Like, it's a hot ass mess. So, yeah, that's my little COVID rant. Yeah, so fuck everyone who's been spreading misinformation. And, yeah, fuck and Candace Owens forever and ever and ever and a day.
I can't wait to hear the beeps on this.
and yeah, I'm probably not gonna... I'm going to only mute one of their names because their stands are crazy. Whew.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. But yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Hurricane Ida. Oh, Jesus.
Well, okay, I'll give Celeste a little mental break while I get into my natural disaster obsession discussion. So I think, by now most people heard about Hurricane Ida and its very interesting path of destruction. Literally
fucked up the eastern seaboard.
Really, really odd that happened. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So last week, I will preface this again by saying I had a very unhealthy obsession with natural disasters growing up. And when Katrina happened, that was all I thought about for like 2 years.
You're also crazy. Like from Florida, so I feel like that kind of makes sense.
I mean, but I'll have to go into this whole long story that I don't want to get into because I know I'll talk for 30 fucking minutes straight about a damn hurricane. But anyway, So I heard about Ida kind of stirring up in the Gulf, and I was like, oh crap, it's like middle of August is always when hurricane season starts up, and it always seems to be like last week of August or so when a really major storm for the season comes through. So I heard about Ida and I was like, oh crap, it's going to sit right over New Orleans. And all I could think about was Katrina. If you don't know, Hurricane Katrina was the most destructive hurricane to hit New Orleans in like 100 years, basically. There's been some very I guess prolific, you could call it, storms in the past. I think like Hurricane Betsy was one in like the early 1900s, and there's been others every once in a while, but Katrina was one that
it wasn't just a hurricane.
Right. Yeah. Well, the unique thing about Katrina, and I'm going to kind of go back to Ida in a minute, but the unique thing about Katrina was Katrina devastated New Orleans. The reason why you see New Orleans as a changed city as it is today is because of Katrina and what happened in 2005. So basically, if you don't know, Katrina was a very powerful storm. It was category 4 and 5, like, which is one of the strongest storms you can get. And when it hit the Gulf areas of like Louisiana and Mississippi and even like Alabama, it just tore through everything. The worst part was, though, the rain and the power from the storm was so powerful, it broke the levees that hold the water back within Lake Pontchartrain. And if you know what the state of Louisiana looks like, you know it looks kind of like a boot, but there's a big chunk out of it on the right-hand side. That's because that's Lake Pontchartrain. The Lake Pontchartrain is, oh man, I don't even know how long it is. I think it's like, don't quote me on this because I'm going to be wrong, but it's like at least like it's a huge lake. It's like one of the biggest lakes in the South, basically. But the interesting thing is, New Orleans is built right up on Lake Pontchartrain, and New Orleans itself sits right at or below sea level. So because they had to build these levees, which are basically just like flood walls that line the perimeter of the lake, they had to build these levees, and they built them really badly in the 50s because this was like part of the I think like part of like Eisenhower's way to like, you know, boost the economy again after the war and after World War II and everything. So they had all these infrastructure projects and stuff like that. And so the Army Corps of Engineers had this huge project to build these flood walls around New Orleans for the lake. They did a shitty job, and so the levees failed. And the worst part about it was most of the city officials knew that the levees were weak, and the state knew that those levees were weak. They did nothing for years to repair or reinforce them. And so when they broke, unfortunately, the lower income neighborhoods, so like 9th Ward, 7th Ward, some of these other communities that lived along the lake in like the underserved portions of the city, they were hit the worst. There was floodwaters that came in straight from the lake up to 20, 30 feet high, totally engulfed houses, swept them away. People drowned. People got trapped in their attics. They died from heat exhaustion because they couldn't, get fresh air in the attic. And it was crazy. It was, just massive destruction and death and disaster. And to this day, there's still parts of the city that have not been rebuilt and probably won't be rebuilt for a long time.
Yeah.
Because they just were totally abandoned. So anyway, so all that stuff happening, and there's a lot more pieces to it where it's like a political side of things and things with like FEMA and their shitty response to it. And, I could get into that, but I choose not to because that would make me talk for another 30 minutes. But so going back to Ida, I see Ida coming up, and I see the reason why there's so much attention on Ida initially was because it was going to sit over New Orleans and just spin. And Ida was bringing a lot of water and a lot of rain, which, usually hurricanes do that anyway, but I think the problem can be the speed of the storm. If the storm is a slow-moving storm, that's a good thing because it allows people to evacuate and make better choices with how they want to deal with the storm, like reinforcing their house and windows or finding alternative shelter and things like that. But the bad thing about that is the storm will just sit over an area and just dump rain and wind for hours and hours and hours. And when you have these houses that aren't like brick and mortar or just, like newer construction houses, they're just not built to withstand that type of stuff. So if you got this wind and rain hammering it for 12 hours straight, stuff starts to give way, and it becomes a situation like roofs getting torn off, siding getting torn off, signs getting pulled up from the street and yards and stuff, and all these projectiles and things flying around. So it's obviously very dangerous. So luckily, Ida hit New Orleans and it didn't do too much damage. It did collapse a few buildings, obviously ripped some siding off of things. The winds were very strong to the south of New Orleans, so like on the south side of Lake Pontchartrain, so there was a lot of damage down there. But I think it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Now, the interesting thing about it was the storm then said, okay, well, fuck you. If y'all don't think you take me seriously, I'm gonna move my ass up across
For real.
to the eastern seaboard, like Celeste mentioned. So this is where the crazy stuff happens. This is where I think most people started catching on with what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia was underwater. New York City was underwater. Who are some of the other cities that were hit? I can't think off the top of my head right now.
A lot of places in like the almost Midwest area, like the Tennessees, Kentuckys.
Yes, right.
Like those areas were hit pretty bad as well. Like just a lot of rain.
Yeah. It dumped so much rain. So if you look up Hurricane Ida, you'll probably see some pictures from like either New York City or Philadelphia. Philadelphia had like 20 feet of water in some areas, 20, 30, I mean, even up to like 40 feet of water in some areas where an entire interstate portion leading into the city was
just a lake.
You couldn't even see it. Yeah. So it took them like, I think like 48 hours to pump the water out, like 48 hours straight of them pumping water just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Rivers overflowed. Any city on a river or, some large body of water basically had some severe flooding, and there were a lot of deaths because of that. Unfortunately, I think at least like 50 or so deaths.
Yeah.
I don't know about that though, but the crazy thing too was it also spawned up some tornadoes in New Jersey. And New Jersey is not a state that gets tornadoes. And so you had a lot of people, not only were they unprepared for, a tropical storm with that amount of rain to come through, they were unprepared on how to deal with a tornado. So you have all these, I'm seeing this stuff on TikTok too. You have all these videos of people just standing there filming this tornado as it's running right through them and coming right through their community. And if you've lived and grew up in New Jersey, never seeing a tornado, what else are you going to do but be mesmerized and fascinated and then be like, oh shit, I don't even know what to do. Like, where do I go, right? Do I stand outside? Do I go in my house? What if my house collapses? So you see a lot of like damage and injuries and stuff from people just like being totally unprepared for something like this. And I think the point I'm trying to make with all this is don't fuck around with Mother Nature, one, and two, don't assume just because you live in a particular area of the United States that you're protected from something. Don't assume just because you're on the East Coast that you're not going to experience an earthquake like you would if you lived in California. Don't assume if you live in Chicago that you're not going to see a hurricane. I mean, like, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, I think it's just...
Especially nowadays, because with the climate change, this is what this is.
That's what it is. So there's a lot of freaky shit happening. If you think about it, like, even the seasons are either more extreme or more mild, which is like not good. Like, but I would just say, like, be prepared for anything. Please take some time to read up on, just basic like survival stuff when it's stuff like situations like, okay, what to do if a tornado, what to do in an extreme thunderstorm or hurricane or earthquake, whatever. Like, just at least know the basics of that so you're not standing outside with your phone while there's a fucking tornado spinning up down the block and then you get hit by a fucking 2x4 because you wanted to record it. Like, don't be that person. Yeah. And I'm not saying, like, say if anyone, had an injury or something from that they're like, bad person or dumb person or something. I'm just saying, like, don't put yourself in that position. It's not worth it to, film something. Like, it's not worth it. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think because I think also because we live in like I'm in Virginia, so like hurricanes are like fairly normal, and I lived through like Isabel. Like, Isabel was like the first hurricane I'd ever like gone through, and that was pretty devastating for the area that I was living in.
Oh yeah, like my dad was up there at that time.
Yeah, really, like it pretty much like ripped out like the beach. Like they had to like rebuild the beach on like the Chesapeake Bay, and like I also like didn't realize like how like so Isabel hit like the Hampton Roads like pretty hard, but then when I came to Central Virginia, like people were like, oh, we got a lot of rain, but like that was really it. And I was like, we were literally devastated. Like people were rowing boats in the street, and like everybody in Northern Virginia was like, yeah, it was just raining a lot. I'm like, damn, that is insane to me. But yeah,
it's interesting. It's like a weird snippet, but I remember because my parents were separated at the time, and we were still down in Florida, and my dad was up in like the Hampton Roads area, pretty much like around where Celeste is talking about. And he worked for the Daily Press. It's like a local, like semi-local newspaper. It's just distributed within that Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area. But when the storm happened, he got this like commemorative shirt. I will never forget this. I thought it was so wacky. He got this like commemorative shirt, and it said, "I survived Hurricane Isabel." And on the back was the front page from the Daily Press, like the day after the storm rolled through. And it was just like destruction. Like you would think that this was like an area in the Midwest that got hit by like an fucking F4 tornado or something. It was crazy. Like everything that was in that shot on that shirt or whatever on the front page of that newspaper was just leveled. And that's like really unusual for the East Coast. But again, it's one of those things where it's like you have to expect the unexpected, especially now with like climate change and everything, because there's so much crazy shit happening. You just can't. Yeah. You can't predict anything clearly.
Yeah.
So
like in high school we had a earthquake.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
I will never forget that, because in that moment I thought Transformers were real and we were gonna die, because I had never experienced an earthquake before. That was crazy.
Were you like in school when that happened? I feel like you were in school.
No, I wasn't. Like, I think it was maybe like a school day, but I was home. Yeah. Or maybe it was like a half day or something, but I was home.
I was at school because I think I was at band practice after school when that happened. I think it was like 3 p.m., somewhere around there. Maybe,
yeah, it was like sometime in the afternoon. Yeah. And I was like freaking out, like, but my like mom and my brother were like somewhere else. They were like driving, and they came back, and I was home alone, and it happened, and I legit thought that someone or something had came to Earth and was finna pick up all of us. Yeah. Like, and my mom came back home with my brother, and I was like, "Did you feel that?" And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, something happened, like the earth was shaking and like things were falling, and she was like, nothing fell. And I was like, I am not crazy, turn on the news. And then the news was like, yeah, there was an earthquake. And I was like, and she was like, oh, I didn't feel it. And I was like, well, too bad, because I did. And it was the worst.
I missed it.
I was like, yeah. That's so funny. I agree, like there's just like the ocean was on fire like 3 times this summer. Look, I know a lot of people don't take like climate change seriously because they don't believe in science, but like it's very evident. And if you don't want it, I feel like we're at a point where if you don't want to see what's going on around you, then you're just not going to.
Yeah. And
I don't blame, and part of me doesn't blame you, because more knowledge is not power. It just sucks. Like
it's very depressing knowing this shit is happening.
Yeah, so yeah, but I would take that. Yeah, I agree. Take it seriously, and I would say learn how to deal with different natural disasters as much as possible. Like, where do you need to be when there's like a tornado, like in your home? Right. Like, what's the safest place? Or if the water is out for like days on end, like you can't have clean water or hot water or something like that. You know, like, what are the things that you need to do to prepare yourself? Like, the other day, I finally bought, like, a flashlight. Like, I haven't, like, had a flashlight ever since I've, like, moved out of my parents' house. Yeah. Like, on my phone, sure, but I don't have, like, an actual battery-powered, like, flashlight, and I finally bought one. Like, shit like that. Like, because when the power goes out, I'm like, damn, like, there's no light. Like, I have candles, but not always. So, yeah, like, just...
I would say think of it like this. For, I think every region, at least in the United States and maybe even Canada, every region has that one natural disaster type of element where you feel very well versed and like very prepared if it were to happen. So if you're on the West Coast, obviously things like earthquakes or wildfires and things like that are very common. Like, take that same bank of knowledge that you know on how to deal with that and apply it to these other natural disasters that may affect other regions of where you live, because it's just as important. Like, for example, there was this huge flood that came through in Europe, and I think Belgium and Germany and the Netherlands and some of the surrounding countries around there, they were devastated by these floodwaters, but that it was like kind of unprecedented. But, you know, everybody knows about a flood, and, you know, I think a lot of people were just unprepared because they're like, oh, that would never happen here. And then it happens, and you have no, you can't even like fathom what's going on, right? So I would just say take some time, get a little well versed in a little bit of everything. It might sound crazy. It's like, oh my God, yeah, we're gonna get an earthquake in Florida, sure, right? Don't think like that, because at this point anything can happen. And also, I would say just take a second to chat with your family and friends. You know, they might think you're a little kooky, but make the point. It's like, look, think about all this crazy shit that's been happening all over the U.S. that's hasn't been happening before, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I think this was a very long discussion about a lot of things we've been like heated about. We were supposed to be talking about like positive stuff, but
it wasn't like necessarily positive.
No, yeah. I said we should have talked about positive stuff.
Oh, but how much positive shit has been going on in the world and in our lives?
Yeah, let's try to think of like a positive what's got you hot.
Yeah, I do have a positive what's got you hot. But before we wrap up,
okay.
I wanted to mention one last thing. So I've been on TikTok recently with begrudgingly. Yes. But I've been enjoying
annoyed
it.
her enough to create a TikTok account.
Yeah, you and like everyone
and
else,
now she
literally.
TikToks.
Yeah, I guess. I've been watching. Okay, so I have like a couple of observations about TikTok, and then I want to get into something else really quickly that like I realized. Well, okay, anyway. I used to not really understand why people say that they could just scroll on TikTok for hours, but now I get it. And I think the biggest reason is that TikTok does not have the time on their app. Like, if you go on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or any of those other, like, websites, and even in, like, Instagram Reels has the same issue. You can scroll on Instagram Reels forever because there is no time shown on the top of your phone.
I never thought about that.
So you can scroll forever and you will not know what time it is.
The other thing too with that is you always get a random video. Yeah, sure, you might get a few in a row that are in like a similar vein, or like maybe even a couple in a row with the same people.
Yeah.
But you're always getting something fresh and new, and you can scroll endlessly. That's the other thing. It's like you don't have to stop and then go and search something else and then go through there like with YouTube, right? But yeah, you could just scroll and scroll and scroll and not even realize, and then after a while you've watched 100 videos.
Yeah. Even though they have those little like, hey, like you've been scrolling for a while, like videos, which you can like totally skip. It's not even like an ad where like
I skipped them immediately.
Yeah, exactly. So
like,
you can totally do that. So yeah, you can definitely. So I get why people can scroll for like hours and hours. What was the second? I don't know. I guess another thing is that I do enjoy the app. I do. I think it's fun. I think it's also really great to see so many different kinds of people.
Yeah.
Like, I think when you're on Instagram or a lot of these other apps, it's very easy to just stay within the community that you're in. Whereas with like TikTok and Reels, I feel like it probably isn't this way. Well, maybe a little bit, but yeah, with like TikTok, it is very easy to find all sorts of different kinds of people. Like a variety of different kinds of people. You don't always see like the same kinds of people. It's not, maybe right now for me it's not like super curated because I just started. But yeah, I do like the diversity on TikTok. Like, it's just people doing shit. And I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's the community or the people that I am seeing, but like everyone is very interested in like their individuality and just being who they are and coming as like who they are. So I do like that about the app so far. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I talked to my mom. My mom uses TikTok a lot too. A lot. My mom uses TikTok a lot as well, and she mainly uses it as like entertainment. But I kind of like the educational aspects of it too. Like I learn a lot of stuff on TikTok. But what I'm saying about my mom is like she will tell me like, oh, I had to clear my likes and stuff, or I made a new account, blah blah blah. And I'm like, why do you keep doing that? And she said, because my For You page, or the main portion where you just scroll and see random stuff, she goes, my For You page gets very curated, and it's to the point where it's like without a fault the same content, just a different person. And so I'm like, well, I think that's just because you're only liking certain things, right? So for me, I try to make a point to like a variety of things. Like if something makes me laugh, I will like it. Unless I go on their page and I realize they're a Trump supporter, then I will block them and unlike it. But if it makes me laugh, I'll like it. If I learn something, I have an aha, like, oh wow. If I'm interested in it, I'll like it. I try to support anyone apart from racists and Trump supporters, and anti-vaxxers, but I try to support anyone in general who is a supportive person. I will support their work, and that kind of keeps my For You page like really exciting, because I do still get random stuff that I wouldn't normally come across in any other sort of app, and I think that's really to me, it's like one of the best qualities of it. It does have its like downsides where it's hard to search for specific stuff. And it's hard to track people. Like if you like something like 2 weeks ago and you're like, oh man, I saw this TikTok, it was so funny, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember when I know I liked it around 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember what it was. You have to search and search and search for it. And it's really kind of sucks in that standpoint where it keeps things so freaking random. It's hard to track stuff a lot of the time, but yeah, I really like it too. I find that I learn a lot. I find that like I was saying earlier, I see a lot of uplifting things. I see a lot of stuff that helps me with my self-confidence and body positivity and Black culture, just feeling more in tune with those sort of things. Like I think it's just super valuable in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess so. Something that I also was like watching on TikTok was this or I've been seeing a lot more of is people talking about Wife Swap, the TV show from like the early 2000s on TikTok, and like just going over like, kind of like parasocially like watching the show or whatever. Yeah, not just controversial episodes, but just like I feel like every single episode is a controversial episode of Wife Swap.
That's fair. But yeah, they made a point of doing that.
But yeah. But if you don't know, Wife Swap was a show on TLC because obviously TLC would have the trashiest, most like terrible like shows of all time on their
Wait, was it
shows.
TLC because there also was a show that came out at the same time called Trading Spouses, which was the same premise. It was just a different show. And I thought that was the one that was on TLC. Maybe I don't know. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure Wife Swap was on TLC.
I looked it up. But yeah, you're probably right about that. But now I'm thinking like Trading Spouses was like the slightly less horrific version of Wife Swap. I feel like they didn't push limits as far as Wife Swap did.
Yeah, fair.
I looked that up though.
But yeah, Wife Swap was a show in which two families would like apply and they would swap the wives for like 2 weeks. And for the first week, the wives would live by the family's rules. And then the second week, the wives would come up with new rules for the family that they're living with, and they would have to follow her rules. And on paper, that sounds interesting because, you know, you can take two different people who are living different lives and, you know, swap them and see how they like fit within like other people's lives and see where the commonalities are and things like that. On paper, that sounds great. Did you want to say something?
Well, I just had a point. Yeah, I was right because I was like, I thought these were both network TV shows. So Wife Swap was on ABC starting in 2004, and Trading Spouses was on Fox starting in 2004. But the difference was Trading Spouses only lasted for 3 seasons. Wife Swap was 7 seasons, and I think that's because Wife Swap was a lot more controversial.
Yeah. Okay. Why did I think it was TLC? It's a very
they might show reruns on TLC because I think a lot of older like network reality shows end up on networks like
okay. I feel like yeah, because it feels like a TLC show. It feels like some shit TLC would do. But yeah, I guess it was on ABC. My bad. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, I've been seeing people doing like talking about it on TikTok, and it has been fascinating. A lot of it is like the parenting stuff, especially when it comes to like Wife Swap. Because and just having that like discourse of like what these people are doing within their like homes and their families, and like talking like in just using kind of like the, you know, the 2020s discourse of like how much of that sentiment has shifted and changed, and how because of social media we talk a lot about you know, like our like mental health and just like social issues a lot more now, and like and just kind of like reflecting on that show. I find that so super interesting. There are some families that are really crazy. One of them, someone was talking about one of the families, they were like super religious and very strict about like their children. They had like all boys. I think they had like 4 boys or something like that. And like the boys weren't allowed to date or to have like any social interactions with like other kids or like especially girls. And they were homeschooled and just like all of this like crazy stuff. And I think in like a few years ago, I think back in like 2016, 2017, one of them murdered their younger brother and their mom.
Yep.
And it was just like and it's crazy to like watch their episodes back and like and knowing like what's going on like now, and it's just like yeah, like you can, and this discourse on like how like people can like snap in those kinds of environments and stuff like that. There was this one family that only ate raw food, like raw meat, raw, like
Ugh.
raw everything. And they were like, yeah, we're so healthy and like we're totally fine. And it's just like, girl, no. No, you are not. Like, and just like the crazy, crazy stuff. And then like just there was this like family, there's like this black family that was like very much into like health and wellness and being successful and all of these things. And they have like 2 little kids, and bless their hearts, and like the parents were like I think the parents were both in the military, and so they were like very military oriented, very, you know, like very much about like behavior and, you know, like manifesting like the things that you want, and, you know, and being, you know, it's giving capitalism like in that way, but like in a very sad way. Like it was just like they didn't like their kids didn't have any fun, right? Like their kids couldn't eat like processed sugars and stuff like that, right? Like, and that leads to like eating disorders and stuff like that, right? Like you're not learning balance within like food groups and stuff like that. And then you don't have any balance in like your social life. Like you can't hang out with other kids socially and things like that. And then like, you know, the parents are like very much about like fitness and you know, like in capital means as a way to like be happier, and, you know, very much about like you have to be successful and success in monetary ways, right? Like it was just, and just like a lot of those things. There was also this one episode where this like very liberal like kind of hippy dippy sort of family like had to like obviously like go to like a very like Republican very, you know, rural like Midwest type family and stuff like that, and they swap places and things like that. And just like that episode was also kind of crazy because the husband of like the more like Republican, like they hunted and like they had like deer mounted on their wall and like birds, you know, like what is the thing called, stuffed and stuff and all that crap. And like
I was gonna say ventriloquist.
No, not ventriloquist. What is it when you stuff your dead animal?
What the fuck is it called? Taxidermy.
Taxidermied, yeah. I was like, what is that thing called? I did the wrong arm movements, obviously. Yeah, and like, but he was like weird about like the wife swap mom, because like she's very pretty and like thin and like blonde and stuff like that, and he was like, yeah, I would love to have her as a wife, bruh.
I thought,
and homegirl was like, said that. Homegirl was like, after, I was like, it's been 10 days and I want to strangle him. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yep. Like... It was so funny. The juxtaposition, like, he's like, oh yeah, she's great, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, he is so disgusting. I hate him.
Yeah. And it's just like all of, like, it's just so interesting. I mean, this is just like a fraction of these families and like what happened, and definitely wife swap most definitely egg them on for sure for TV, like for sure, like but yeah, that was so interesting to me. I would love to in the future, like maybe us do stuff like that where like we like watch TV shows or something and just kind of like dissect and like go through like what just kind of like the dichotomy of like all of these shows and like the relationships and stuff like that. Like The thing is, I don't really be watching reality TV show like that. Reality TV like that.
Yeah, I try not to.
I don't know
these days.
I think
because they're addicting. You just watch one after the other.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I've been watching recently that's like kind of new is My Unorthodox Life on Netflix. That show, very. I have a lot of things to say about the people on that show. I'm not going to go into it, but I have a lot of things to say, and they're not all nice. But I just find it, but I think overall, I just always find it, especially reality TV shows that are about rich people, I just find it so interesting how all of their problems literally don't matter.
So tone deaf.
Like,
he brought the wrong kind of coffee again. Oh my god. Like, now I need to go get my own coffee. Like, this is the biggest waste of my time.
Yeah.
Like, hate that.
Like, the conflicts are not really conflicts. They're not, like, there's an episode.
Most of them, right.
Of unorthodox, like, they go to, so it's like Fashion Week in, like, Paris or whatever country or city.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. I just thought about that America's Next Top Model clip where they have to do the teleprompter challenge. And that one girl was like, have you seen that scene? Where they have to do they have to read off a teleprompter. The models have to read off a teleprompter. And that one girl, she's struggling. And she goes, "It's Fashion Week in Paris. Can you say magnetic?" Because the prompter said magenta and she couldn't read the word, so she said magnetic.
Oh no, girl.
I think she was just nervous. And then it said so, I don't know, it just, anyway, that's just what.
No, that's funny.
I'm gonna be quiet now while you tell the rest of this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah, so they they went to Fashion Week, and she took like the mom, who's like the main person in this whole show. She took like the family there. The whole family is staying in like a 13th century castle, and like castle, not hotel, castle. They have the whole castle to itself.
Ridiculous.
To themselves. And like, it's not like a rundown castle. It has like all of the things in it. And so, yeah. And so what happened? Oh, so like the oldest daughter got invited to like one, the mom got an extra ticket to like one of the fashion shows, and the oldest daughter got the ticket, and the oldest brother was like, I kind of want to like, I want to go, like, I've never been invited to go, but I want to go, I want to like try new things or whatever. And the oldest daughter's like, well, no, you're not gonna ever get a ticket because it's mom and I's thing. And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, she sucks.
I was like, no, she sucks. I would love to talk about it.
No, I know. Her and her husband suck.
Yes.
I've seen one episode and I can't stand him. He sucks.
Oh my god. Whatever. They suck.
I like
so
the
bad.
mom. I like the youngest daughter.
Yeah, I like the mom. I like the youngest daughter, but she's like all over the place. I think I think honestly the TV show has made it that way. I don't think she's as all over the place as she probably is, like, it seems to be, but I don't like the way that like she's portrayed. But yeah, the oldest daughter, like, I don't know. There's things that I understand, but there are some things that I'm like, you have all of the privilege in the world and all you do is bitch. And I'm not saying that like you can't and that your life hasn't always what it's cracked up to be, but y'all have been rich and wealthy and well off from day one, even before your mom got divorced and all this other stuff, and now y'all are mega rich. Your father lives in a huge ass house. Like, it's not like y'all have never had any money or anything at all whatsoever. I understand the culture is different and it's hard to like step out of that and stuff like that. But like, man, like, but this is like, yeah. But anyway, rich people having reality TV shows just always boggles my mind because y'all be using and saying shit that don't make no sense. Rich people are not allowed to use the term frugal. Because
That's
why?
So true. That's so true.
So yeah. But yeah, wife swap, TikTok, the girls. It's been a good time. I'm enjoying myself. I would love to know if y'all have any shows that you would like for us to talk about.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. Maybe we can do a series on the show and talk about them. Like maybe like once a month or so, or maybe we'll do like I don't know. But yeah, we'll like talk about like a show or something as like a segment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just send us any suggestions. I'm open to anything. If y'all really want to hear our commentary on stuff.
Yeah, fair.
Because I'm sure, like, if you make a suggestion, how we're gonna react to a certain thing anyway.
Fair.
So I guess if you want to get a reaction out of us and this shit that's gonna piss us off.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't do scary shit. Like, I don't know, like, American Horror Story, no, like, blood and gore kind of stuff. Like, I can do, like
zombie stuff.
Yeah. I don't do,
Well, I think, I have a feeling that if we do get suggestions, they won't be, like, just any old show. Like, it'll be something, like, for a specific reason, not just because it's a good show or whatever. But
yeah, but I'm just saying.
Send us whatever.
Yeah.
Send us whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't do blood and gore. If it's giving, like, Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 8 and not seasons 1 through 7 and not 8, then sure. Maybe. But, I can do a little bit of that. I will just watch through the cracks of my fingers. But past that, yeah, like, nothing scary for me, at least.
Pretty gory, so if you can handle Game of Thrones, I'm sure you'll
be okay with Game of Thrones isn't just the gore, right? Like, and like the sex scenes or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's like an actual like show on, like, it's like a political like commentary show on fantasy show. Like, that show was so good, and then they ruined it, of course.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Game of Thrones.
Just let him finish writing those damn books. Anyway.
No, okay, real quick, sorry, I know, it's been like 2 hours, but I just wanna, like, first of all, I have not watched the last episode, and at first it was because of laziness, and then now it's just a protest, because I can't believe that they fucked up the show so bad. I absolutely love that show. I've rewatched it, like, twice. Except for, like, the last season. Here's the thing. Fine, George R. R. Martin did not finish writing the books, but he gave them an outline of how the books were going to wrap up and end. The problem is that the Double D's, Dan and Dave, whatever the producers' names are, they decided that instead of creating a coherent story with the outline that George R. R. Martin gave them, they decided to constantly play chicken with the audience. So every time we would try to guess what was happening or to hypothesize what could happen, they tried to one-up us. And that is not how you make a good story. Now, don't nobody talk about Game of Thrones anymore, except how much they hated the last season.
Right.
What a reputation to destroy. And they're like, we don't care anymore. Because of course, everyone in like the industry and the people that are around them don't care, but the rest of us do. And then they went on and did some other thing that I heard flopped or whatever, or is not good. So I just, like, it is sad that and you know who pays the price the most? The actors. Who literally have nothing to do with anything. They just playing a part. And they get shat on the most. So, yeah. So, fuck. I mean, George R. R. Martin, whatever. Like, I mean, you're an asshole anyway, but, like, honestly, fuck D&D, because, like, that was really, really fucked up. And the writers who actually had a say, and if you're, like, a sub-writer, I don't know how the writer hierarchy works, but if you're a writer and you, like, really advocated and they overpowered you, I'm so sorry, because you probably had way more ridges in your brain than the rest of the people who came up with the script and the storyline and completely destroyed the legacy of Game of Thrones. It's extremely sad, and I have no faith. After that ended, I was like, I honestly don't have faith in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah, that really messed me up for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's not even really about, like, it's just like such an investment. You're invested in the story. And obviously a lot of people watched the show and never read the books. So it was just like, you never really could tell what was going to happen. But, you know, as each season went on, it got better and better. And then it got to the point where it's just like, they just stopped trying for what? Like, you got bored, or you wanted to do your own thing, and then you got mad when nobody liked your own thing. So you said, fuck you. Like, I just think that's crazy. But anyway, we should wrap up now. It's over 2 hours. If you're listening this long, at this point, we're just on the phone with each other, I think.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, this is what we do, yeah.
Yeah, we do talk for, like, hours on the phone, just about random shit like this. But I will start. I do have What's Got You Hot, and it's kind of a positive thing, and it's actually about me. Just for the last few weeks, I'll give you space to put in What's Got You Hot. Bam. Okay, so you know, I just over the past few weeks, I've been really trying to. I'm about to bring up TikTok again, FYI, but I've just really been trying to be more unapologetically myself, if that makes sense. Like, be me, and get back into doing the things and, like, exploring the things that really helped me, like, kind of like improve my self-identity, because I feel like there's been, like, this lapse of time where I just haven't really focused on myself, and so I'm starting to get back into that again. I'm starting to, like, just enjoy things more. I got my nose pierced, which was kind of a weird, like, random decision, but it was something I knew I wanted to do for a while. I just, you know, never got it done. But it's so funny because I came across on TikTok this filter that you can add. It's like an effect that you can add to the camera where it gives you a little, like, digital piercing on your nose. It, you know, tracks where your nose is and it gives you a little piercing. You can change the type of piercing on it. And I got this little stud one on my nose. I was like, what the fuck? That's actually really cute. I was like, damn, I think I can actually pull off a nose, you know, a little nose piercing or something. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna go. And, you know, I used to be the person who would do, like, spontaneous shit like that and just be like, I'll deal with the consequences later if there are consequences. And most of the time things would work out really well for me. I've, you know, knock on wood, I've had good luck with random decisions like that. But yeah, I'm, like, really happy about that. I'm trying to, like, dress more, well, I guess less like how I think people would want to see and more like how I know I would want to see. And that has also been really freeing. And I also have to thank TikTok and, like, my friends like Celeste and, like, my mom and people who just, you know, kind of hype me up every once in a while. And you know, we have these, like, really engaging talks where we talk about things like that and how important it is just to feel comfortable and how you look and what you do. And, you know, I've been, like, putting on makeup more often and not to cover anything up, but just to kind of, like, accentuate my features and stuff and not feel so plain Jane, you know, and stuff like that. And it's just, like, little things that I've been tweaking in my day-to-day that have been making such a freaking crazy difference in how I feel overall. And it's just really it's really exciting to be feel like I'm back exploring things and, like, trying to get out of my comfort zone and trying new things, because it's always great to, like, you know, discover new stuff about yourself, discover new interests, and discover you know, new feelings and things like that. So yeah, I'm feeling really good these days, so it's a good change.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm glad that you feel that way. Like, Yeah, like, it's always, when you have that, like, those, like, glimpse of, like, oh, like, I'm actually feeling pretty good about myself. You're like, oh, okay, like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what that feels like. So, yeah, I'm glad you're feeling like that more, and I hope that continues and stuff like that, and you're in a place where, you know, things just feel good more.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I love that. My what's got you hot? I have two things. I will try not to talk too long. First, just taking breaks. I know we talked about in the top of the episode that about like our break and stuff like that, but like honestly, like, I mean, currently right now we don't plan on taking another break probably until like the holidays. Unless like something drastic happens, but also like just in general, like in our lives, like minus like the podcast, like just taking break from like work or school or just like shit that's social going on in your life. Yeah, social media, just like taking breaks, normalize taking breaks, because life is hard. And I know that like maybe in the past or like in previous generations and stuff like that, people didn't take breaks, and now they're like overworked and unfulfilled and sad and just taking it out on like the entire world. And it's just like, I know like this is like a privileged position to be in, to be like, I want to take breaks and being able to go and take a break. But yeah, if you can take a break, take a break. Seriously. Like, especially like if you're a person of color, especially if you're a Black woman, like take a break if you can. This world and the world that we live in is very taxing, extremely taxing. If you can take a break, take a break. This week I took the rest of the week off. Today's Labor Day. I don't go back to work until like next Monday, and because I needed a fucking break. I hadn't taken a break since March. And like I like, even for my birthday, granted my birthday was on a Sunday, but still, like, I didn't take any breaks for like my birthday or anything like that, just because a lot of shit was going on, and I was just like, you know what, I'm like really fucking tired and I need to like clean my apartment, but also like I just need to chill. I just need to like literally not do anything at all whatsoever. And so I'm actually not even getting paid this week except for today because it's a holiday, but I took unpaid time off, and I have a lot of privilege in being able to do that. Like I can still pay my rent, like I still pay my bills and stuff like that. I'm totally fine, and I'm grateful that I'm able to like take all this time off and not have to be like, oh, I have to use my PTO because I like, you know, don't want to fall behind on bills or anything like that. I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that. But also like part of me like does make me sad because it's like people should be able to take breaks and not have to like worry about where shit is gonna come from. Like, you know, like it's just too much. It's too taxing. Like, so yeah, like take breaks if you can. If you are stressed, if you're hearing this and you're stressed out and you're just like, oh my God, like, I don't know, now, the future, 10 years from now, whatever, like take a break. This is your sign, or whatever the girls be saying.
And if it's for work, you don't have to tell your employer what's up. Like, you don't need to tell them like, I'm just feeling really stressed and blah blah blah, and I just need a break. No, you can either say I'm taking a day for my mental health. That's usually what I end up doing, because then it's like no questions asked, like, oh my God, okay, yeah, whatever you need sort of situation. I assume my bosses are usually pretty understanding with that. And I think in work culture these days, like, people would rather be on the right side of things. If you're saying you're having mental health issues, they'd rather be on the supportive side than the, you know, whatever, suck it up side. Or you could be super vague, or, you know, if I'm feeling very vague and it's like, I don't even know why I want to take a day off, I just want to chill, say I just need a personal day, because then that tells people like, okay, they got errands to run, they got something that came up that they need to take care of, or, you know, I'm taking a personal day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't owe them an explanation. If they're fishing for answers, that's like a red flag, big ass red flag. Your employer should not be in your personal business. That's just like a given. If they're fishing for answers and trying to, oh, well, if you're sick, you need a doctor's notes about, fuck that. Like, you don't owe them anything, and you deserve to take time off. If you have it and you're able to, you should take it. This like notion of delayed gratification works in some ways, like holding off on things and saying, if I can just get through next week, then I can do this. Or if I can just wait till January, then blah, blah, blah. Don't do that to yourself if you don't have to. Because shit is so crazy right now. Life is fucking short, obviously. And things can change overnight, clearly, with COVID. Think about how things were last March for you, right? Things can change overnight, and you don't know what your situation is going to look like at that point where you're trying to delay things. So if you need it and you're feeling like that, Celeste is totally right. You need to just take it and deal with whatever potential repercussion is later, because putting stuff off just because you think you can hold out a little longer, that's not healthy.
Yeah, agreed. And if you don't do it now, your body will make you do it later when it's the least convenient for you.
Exactly. You do not want to. You don't want to end up in the ER. That's all I'm going to say. I know that firsthand. You don't want to go to the fucking hospital because you're too stressed and your body just shuts down on you. Yeah.
And then my last thing to wrap it up is I signed up for this organization called Be the Match. I'm pretty sure it is, I should know what this is, but I'm pretty sure it's a bone marrow registry. Yes. And I signed up for it in college, and they actually recently sent me some emails to redo my swab because they something about some like virus or something, not the COVID, but something else, some other virus, and they just needed to update the registry. So I'm gonna go do that. I like being a part of this registry, because there's not a lot of Black people on, like, honestly, on a lot of registries, just because there aren't enough resources to have us on these kinds of things. Like, people aren't going out to our neighborhoods or the places that we go to get us to, like, donate and stuff like that. Also, Black people just don't, when it comes to medical stuff, Black people just do not trust.
Kind of shy away from it. Yeah.
That kind of
not
stuff.
Everyone, but
yeah, not everyone, but
it's a stigma.
Yes, and with like it's reasonable because, like, look at Henrietta Lacks and like all these other Black people who have had their bodies like worked on and stuff taken from their bodies and used medically and without their knowledge or anything like that, without any compensation and stuff like that. So totally understandable. But so I got my kit to like re-swab. I will leave the link down in the show notes, but I would highly suggest looking at it. And I think because of COVID now, they will just send you the kit cool. in the mail, and it's just like two like little like cotton ball cotton swab things that you just swab in the inside of your mouth for like 10 seconds or something like that, and then you just mail it back to them. They have all of the like post stuff on it and all that. They have all the directions and stuff like that, and you're part of the registry. And if you do get matched by someone, they pay for everything: hotel, food, hospital stays. I think they even comp like your wages for however much, how many days that like you'd have to take off work and stuff like that. So it's virtually free for you to do it, and you'd be helping someone out. There isn't a lot of people of color on these kinds of registries, so I would highly suggest that if you like to donate blood or plasma, or maybe you're looking, or maybe if you don't like donating like blood or plasma, stuff like that, like this is probably like a good way for you to do something like that. And I feel like it's just a really good cause. And yeah, it's bethematch.org. I really like them, and they're like really informative and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been a while. I think it's been like 5 or 6 years since I like registered with them, so I'm glad.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I'll have to get my kit updated. I gotta make sure my emails are up to date, I guess.
Yeah, because they sent it to my email, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I needed to like do this. So I was like, all right, send it to me so I can do it. So yeah, that's all I got. This has been a very long episode.
yes, very long, but I think it was fun catching up.
Yeah.
And I hopefully somebody at least enjoyed us rambling for 2.5 hours. But again, this was the Slight Sarcasm podcast. I'm Amber.
I'm Celeste.
That's Celeste. As always, we want to thank you all for listening. We do encourage you to take a look at our social media, which will be linked in the show notes, along with all the links we talked about earlier, the Be the Match links and things like that. And you can also email us with questions or suggestions, like we mentioned earlier, if you have something you want us to talk about or a show to watch or something. That email is theslightsarcasmpodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, thanks again, and we hope you join us in the next episode. Bye!
Bye!